All right. Thank you all for having Sangram and Natasha and I up here. This has been a lot of fun. What a great room. One of the things that we were thinking about was what's emerging. And you think about all the things Sangram talked about from a marketing perspective. Account-based is a new idea. And so as we were talking about what salespeople can latch onto after a marketing lead's been generated, that's what I'm here to talk about. As Kenny mentioned, I'm with SalesLoft. We were fortunate to be named Deloitte's 7th fastest growing company in the US. And a lot of the same things I'm doing at SalesLoft I did at Pardot a decade ago, because I'll tell you, sales fundamentals is something that is in vogue again. And I am from south of the border, Atlanta, Georgia, so thank you guys for having me up here. Did I get a woo on Atlanta? All right, yes. All right, there you go. All right, so everyone should have something practical to take home. I am a guaranteed take home something practical type of guy. So how many touches should you put on a prospect if you want to turn them into a future, or excuse me, how many touches should you put on a future customer if you want to turn them into a customer? Anyone want to take a guess? 20, give me another number. Topo says 15. You should touch your customers 15 times. We had the gentleman in the back ask about phone. Phone is still an important part, whether you're going inbound or outbound. Take that home and start doing that tomorrow. There you go. Secondly, how long should a cadence go? Well, we looked at over 200 million interactions from sellers using SalesLoft, and one of the things that they found was that you should actually increase the length of your cadence the further out on the horizon you get. And so you'll see the line moving up and to the right. Over the first 10 days, you should do 10 touches, but as you look way off on the horizon, you should start slowing down to 20, 30, and 40 days. You're not doing that right. You're welcome, Toronto. How about this? Yeah, don't thank me, huh? How about this? You want to know how to start a cadence? Let me help you. Start with a phone call. That's the #1 optimal way to be able to turn someone into a prospect and into pipeline. And follow it up with an email. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. A golf clap. I'll take it. Yes. Tough crowd up here in Toronto. You guys are supposed to be nice. But with that said, I don't want to talk about any of that stuff. That stuff's boring. You can find an expert or an analyst on any corner that will tell you what you should do from a go-to-market strategy. That's not what I'm here to talk about. What I wanted to talk about are some of the things that you should be doing to drive sales for your business, and I think it really dovetails nicely with what Sangram talked about. How many of you are familiar with Good to Great? One of my favorite books. Who loves it? There you go. All right. The Hedgehog Principle, right? I mean, if you're a business and you are not executing on the Hedgehog Principle, shame on you, shame on you, shame on you. Because you're trying to do too many things. When you do too many things, you're the jack of all trades, master of none. But one of the things you ought to do as a seller, not as the CEO of the business who needs to keep it on course, is you should be a fox. And let me tell you what I mean by that. In the book, it was said that the fox has many ways to defeat the hedgehog, and the hedgehog has only one way to defeat the fox, and what is that? Roll up into a little spiky ball. But it talks about the fox is crazy smart, and the fox is cunning, and the fox would find all sorts of different ways to attack it, but the hedgehog would always be able to defeat it by just simply going back to its safe place. You know what I'd say to you from a sales perspective? I want to be a fox. I want to be a fox because of the fact that I'm not just going to use phone. I'm not just going to use email. I'm not going to use just one channel. How many of you are doing email only in your communication? This room's embarrassed to say. If there's anyone in here, thank you for not raising your hand, because I will say like, oh. Because the facts are it doesn't work, right? It's super hard. If I can make this work. There we go. Super hard to get attention with email only. What you'll find is that the place where most sellers find the maximum success is phone, email, and LinkedIn. Let me ask the question. How many of you have added LinkedIn as a channel to your outreach? Good. I love it. I love it. Good. Be a fox. Find them where they are. One of the things Sangram talked about, and I love, he said, look, if you call me, you're interrupting me. Okay, I'm willing to accept that. Hey, we got a high call shop. We grind on the phone. I'll totally accept that. Let me send them an email. Maybe they prefer to communicate by email. Let me send them a LinkedIn message. Let me send them a smoke signal. I'm not dogmatic about the way that I need to connect with them. I want to find the most empathetic way for them to talk to me. They need to have a conversation with me because I'm going to change their life because I've targeted them right, to Sangram, and that's so important that you said. So far, so good. Be a fox? Yeah. All right, how about this? Be old school. Oh, and I'm old, so the school part is sort of after the fact. I'm just old. I saw this. Do you guys have hipsters up here in Toronto? This is a legitimate question. Yes, you have them here? I saw this photo, and it said, are these Civil War reenactors or hipsters? And the guy's got a MacBook, the other one's got his shoes off in a coffee shop. But what it led me to believe is this. I can't make that up. That photo, literally, if you take the MacBook out, could have been from the 1700s. But with that said, everything old is new again. There was the famous quote, there's nothing new under the sun. And so when we talk about ways to be a fox, the very first way to be a fox is not to cop out on email. I'm not saying email's bad. Email's here to stay. But don't cop out on email. How about phone? 85% of sales happen after the 5th call attempt. Be a fox. Don't just send an email. Don't be the 2%. Send them an email, and what do? Call them. Or our research says you call them and then send the email. But what else? You want to hear about something really old? Hard to believe. Direct mail is back, baby, back. SalesTO, 66% of direct mail gets handled or opened by the receiver. Now, I will tell you that we've done a thing internally as part of an account-based marketing strategy that we call the Journey Campaign, and we deliver a message, effectively a map of how we're going to communicate to VPs of sales that we want to sell to. And why do we do that? Because I don't know if they're going to get the email. Why do we do that? Because I don't know if they're going to take my call. Why do we do that? I don't know if they're going to respond on LinkedIn. And so we send them something that is direct mail, and it's super, super impactful. When we were at Pardot, so I talk about some of the same things, fundamentals. Fundamentals never change. Gravity, undefeated. No one still beat it, right? And so 10 years ago, Pardot wrote a book. It was called Think Outside the Inbox. And it was on Amazon, and it was like number 15,000 in the business books ranking. I mean, it was pretty bad. But what we would do is we would go out on Amazon.com, and we would buy one, and we would send it to our prospect. And what did the prospect get? A box from Amazon. You know what everybody likes? A box from Amazon. Oh, what's in here? Every day I get to open one. You know what? It's usually not for me. It's usually Mrs. Grant. She has mastered Amazon. I got to believe we should be shareholders in it. But it's a way to be able to break through the noise, right? It's just, how many of you are doing handwritten notes? We have note writing parties to be able to send things out, but also we have new integration to SalesTO. They're crazy good. They can do swag. They can do handwritten notes. They can do all sorts of direct mail, but it's just another way. It's just another channel. It's just for all of you foxes out there to be able to communicate with your prospects. If you're not doing direct mail today, I can tell you that you can be old school and you can send direct mail and it can have an impact because it isn't something that everyone is doing today. So far, so good. Going to be foxes, going to be old school. Okay. Be social. Everybody's hand in the room went up, so I don't even need to talk about this one, right? If you're not doing social, you're doing it wrong. That's really, really important. It isn't about phone, it's about email. Can I tell you my perspective? How many of you are executives out here? Love it. All right, good. I am willing to venture a guess, and that is you may have someone who intercepts your email. You may have someone who answers your phone. But I bet there's not a one of you who are letting people in your LinkedIn account. Why? Who may get that great job offer that I've always wanted to get out of this dump, right? Seriously, that's the last unprotected inbox on earth. It truly is. LinkedIn, be social. Now, I want to cite a study that was done by Topo. If you guys don't know these guys, they're out of San Francisco. They're the smartest people in the room as it relates to high-velocity inside selling. They're bright. And they found a 30% lift in connect rate, by using a LinkedIn touch. That's great. That's powerful. And they were talking about the idea that you should not measure a particular channel, but you should measure the performance of the entire cadence of the entire go-to-market process that you're running. But there was an interesting side note to this. When asked them how many people responded to them on LinkedIn, anybody want to take a guess at how many did? 0. 0 responded. But 37% of companies are doing phone, email, and LinkedIn. It's a powerful way to be able to connect, and it's empathetic. That's the thing. Calling them, is it empathetic or not? It's neither. It just is one way to connect with them. Email, is it empathetic or not? It's neither. It's just a way to connect with them. Direct mail, LinkedIn, just ways for you to be able to connect with your prospects. Third one is being visual. Now, how many of you are using Waterloo's own Vidyard? Oh, that should be 100% of all of you. What do foxes do? something different. They're cunning, right? They're always trying to figure out what it is they should be doing. They're not doing the same thing over and over again because everyone else is doing that already, right? They're doing something new. Video. Open and reply rates increase 8x when you use video in a message. It's powerful. They actually have a lot of research that says if you include the word video in your subject line, that response rates go way, way up. Let me show you what we're doing from a video perspective. Now, relevancy matters. I think Sangram nailed this. Context. Context, context, context. Can I tell you guys, after 15 years in sales, someone said something to me the other day that literally blew my mind. And I was like, God, I'm so dumb. I didn't think of that. We all do research. We all go to LinkedIn. Everyone agrees that LinkedIn is the new first screen. Salesforce.com is second or third. It is truly about LinkedIn because we want to know the person. We want to know where they are. We want to know these things. And they said, you should personalize an email. I'm like, yeah, our first email is personalized. Check. And they're like, and then when you call them, you should just say whatever it was that you wrote in the personalized email. And I was like, because I had a script. Hello, I'm a person with company. And we provide, I got the script all locked down. Instead of saying like, wow, unbelievable. Like, man, you've been doing huge things over there. That's crazy good. What do people love hearing? Their own name. They want to hear about how smart they are, how pretty. You're the prettiest girl in school. That's what they all want to hear, right? And so what our SDRs do is they take the same information they personalized one email with, that they left on their voicemail, and now they send in a video, write it on a whiteboard. What are they being? Foxes, guys. Oh, wake up, foxes. Absolutely. This is powerful. This literally has a 40% open rate, 10% positive reply rate. I mean, it's just another way for you to be able to get through to them. And it's another way of showing that you research them, you know them, you have context, you are deeply connected with them. Video matters. One thing I would say about video is you can't put it at the very beginning of a cadence because it takes time. And the blooper reels are hilarious. And so make it a third or fourth or fifth touch. It's powerful. It will be a game changer. And Vidyard has a free product. It's called Viewed It, and you can all get it, and it costs you nothing, and it is a game changer. If you're not using video, humanize the selling approach by using video in your process. So we're going to be foxes. We're going to be old school, right? We're going to be using social. We're going to be visual. What's the last one? And this is the one that I wanted to spend the bulk of my time on, being authentic. The fact of the matter is there's a staggering amount of messaging going out in the world today. How many of you are SDRs? We have done SDRs in this world a huge disservice because what we've done is we've outfitted them with a machine gun and we have given them the opportunity to go out and spew their message out to as many people as possible, and we don't necessarily put guardrails on them. And as Sangram said, if you're not building your brand, you're hurting your brand. It's a fact. So 132 billion B2B emails per day. But mine's going to stand out. Okay. Going to take the Pepsi challenge on that one? Did you know that 78% of them are never even opened, much less read? But mine's got a GIF. It's got a penguin smacking another penguin in the back of the head, and he falls through the ice, and the subject line is how to break the ice, trying to break the ice here, right? It's like, no, it's not. Did you know that the average person, it's not going to. It's not. Do you know the average person, this is the receptionist. This is the janitor. At any company that you're trying to sell into, picture the company you want to sell to. The janitor there gets an average of 76 emails per day. The janitor. Every person gets 76 emails per day. Your buyer at a Fortune 500 company is getting 4 to 5 times that. But mine's going to stand out. No, it's not. It's important to say. One of my favorite customers is a guy named Matt Admonson. He's over at Everstring. And Matt came from a marketing automation perspective. And one of the things that he said that I thought was really powerful is, having come from a marketing automation vendor in Marketo, he knows that sending out email at scale is super easy. You don't need anything special to do that. You just need a little bit of money, and you can send out a ton of email. And what he said was, just prove you're not a robot. If you want a response from me, I'll assume the emails are automated. If you just do one thing, I'll assume it's not. Prove you're not a robot. You guys want to get a meeting with Matt? Who here sells marketing stuff? Sells marketing? Seriously. I'm going to get you guys a meeting tonight. And another one. I'm going to give you guys one more hit. You want to know how to get a meeting with Matt Admonson? And what he does is he gives those cupcakes to his SDRs, the hardest working people in show business. That's a fact. Now, what does he get every day? Hello, Matt, I'm person with company, and we provide value prop A and value prop B. And what does he do? Delete. Matt, following up on the email, I sent you a couple days. Delete. Hey, Matt, doing something. Delete. You know how to get a meeting with him? One thing you have to do. Send a box of cupcakes. That's all you have to do. He tells you what you have to do. But people are so tone deaf right now, and they are so unresearched, and they are just literally shooting in any general direction, hoping for something to work out. Also, how many of you follow people on LinkedIn? This is a powerful one. If you're not doing this, this is a miss. And I tell you, on LinkedIn, they used to make you tell how you knew the person, and I kept looking up and down for I'm a salesperson stalking this human being wherever they live, and that was never an option. And now they don't make you say that anymore. It's not to lie. Like, we're colleagues or whatever. But if you follow them, they might say something interesting. And if you say something interesting, what can you do? Like it, share it, comment on it. All sorts of stuff you can do. Also things that they've posted, really, really powerful. So there's ways to be able to do it using LinkedIn just to know more. It isn't a more game, it's a more personal game. That is the truth. It is all about context. How many of you are using Owler? Oh, change your life, and it's free. I'm giving you guys all sorts of free stuff. It literally will tell you who they compete with. You want to know the single fastest way to get an email response from me? Certainly to get it open. Name a competitor in the subject line. 100%. What does Owler tell you? Who they are, who the competitors are, recent news articles. It's all together, all free, can send you daily alerts. It's a game changer for your account-based strategy. Go and sign up for Owler. It is the best. Now, I want to tell you that something else you should do is be complimentary. I want you to read the subject line of this email, and then if there's any English majors in here, I'm sorry for how offensive this is. We're like SalesLoft, yeah, hi. Now, do you think that email looks like the normal quick question? Strange question. Can you help? Redirect request. Re-meeting. Re-missed you. Wait, you think it stands out in the sea of that? Yeah, it does. What did he do? One important thing. He went out and read a guy's article, exactly what Sangram said. If you read a piece of my content and you said that is literally earth-changing, and then he added some additional value to it, talking about how it was something that he used to do, filler words, you need them, you need to be polished, and he knew he wasn't, but he's 100% confident in SalesLoft now, and then he moves it into talking about why SalesLoft is valuable to the person. You think that email got a response? Did it get a response? You're damn right it did. How about this one? This is one of my favorites. This is a real email. So let me tell you guys a backstory on this one. We were trying to get into New Relic, and the head of sales development in New Relic, we had been a fox. I mean, we had tried everything but hiding in his bushes. I mean, we had done it all to try and get this guy to have a conversation with us. He wouldn't. And it turned out that this guy went to University of California, and he was a walk-on on their football program. And he scored a touchdown, one touchdown, his senior year in the 1993 Alamo Bowl. Now, the rep takes a GIF capture tool, puts it on top of the video, and gets this video of the guy catching a touchdown. What did he do? Did he send it? He waited. It was March. What's going on in March? March Madness. He waited till Cal lost, because that's where the guy went to school. And then he pounced. Seriously, tough loss today, because Cal lost. Time like this when everyone's brackets are ruined, there's always the last touchdown of the 1993 Alamo Bowl game. You think this got a response? Did it? It takes time, though. It's easier to send person plus company, right? But that's not what he's doing, because it's more sincere, it's more authentic. How about this one? Be well researched. This one I love. So we just closed the deal from this company, which is incredible. The person identified on LinkedIn that they had posted an article about Harry Potter, and in the article, they mentioned that they were a Harry Potter fan. So he entitled an email, The Deathly Hallows. And he goes in, and what does he start with? Hey, I'm a person with company, and here's the value that I provide. You know, wee. He's going to wee all over the customer, right? Nope. Talks about something that's a shared thing that they find together being good. Who's your favorite character? What's your favorite book? Mine's Professor Stape, and it's The Deathly Hallows. Hence the name of the email. Think you got a response? Best prospecting email I've read in ages. Tell me more. Here's the thing, guys. You can go out and you can be impersonal at scale. You can have high scale and low reaction from your customer, or you can have high intensity, high intentionality. You can be sincere and authentic in your communication with prospects. And it just decides on what you want to be. What do you want people to think of your brand? Will you be a good steward of that brand? Now, with that said, do I have a couple minutes for questions?
Yeah.
All right. 3 questions. Wow. Let's see. I'm a Sagittarius, like long walks on the beach, pina coladas. Any questions? Or did I just blow your mind and there's no questions? Nothing? Sanger got 3 questions. Okay, all right.
What's the last thing you bought from someone who reached out to you cold?
I had last thing I bought. So I defer most buying over to our sales ops folks. So I can say it's probably been a while since I've actually bought something. Had a really nice approach. Someone said, looks like you were at Pardot. Looks like they compete with Company A, Company B, Company C. I used to be with this other company. Would love to meet you at this conference. And I was like, and I literally responded back with like 100%, whatever you need. And so I met with him. He was selling recruiting products out of Boston. I tell you, that is a scourge on the earth, though. Although the guy was super, he got a connection. And you could probably argue I might be a buyer for a recruiting product. But I've seen more and more people sending crazy, poorly targeted emails like, hey, Derek, not sure if you're the right person to talk to about financial software. It's like, I went to Florida State. I can barely add, right? I mean, like, of course I'm not the right person. Mind doing me a huge solid? No, do your own work. What am I, your freaking, like, admin? No, right? But it's like, I've seen that's been a scourge on the earth. So I've had some really good approaches, but generally speaking, if I see something I like, I'll send it over to our sales ops people, and they'll do the buying. Good question.
Hey, so we do a lot of emails, probably hundreds a day, or maybe close to thousands. What is the scale that is reasonable to have this approach? Like,
Yep.
This is going to be very time-consuming. Of course, it's going to pay off, but what size of account is reasonable to have this approach?
Yeah, it's a good question. When you think about account-based, and so when Sangram is talking account-based marketing, we're talking account-based sales, but it needs to be something with some meat on the bone. I'll tell you that we segment our target market into commercial 1, commercial 2, and commercial 3. And commercial 1 gets all personal all the time. Now, everybody gets a video, but I mean like deep personalization throughout. We're supporting it with a lot of marketing channels. But as you get down to Com 3, there's some stuff where it's like, there's sort of more trigger-based emails of like, congrats on the promotion. Like it's not nearly as personal because it does take time. Finding the video and turning the video into a GIF and embedding it in the email, like that took a lot of time and a lot of patience. How many of you know Vorsight? These guys are like some of the smartest cold callers on earth. They actually have a thing they call 3x3. If you have to look, I had a cold caller, 2 AEs years ago that I hired, and they were both C's on a disc profile, and C's are very thoughtful and very sort of intentional about everything they do. And they would research people until they knew the person's dog's name. And then they'd make a call, and what happened statistically with that call? Well, didn't answer. And that's an hour of their day they couldn't get back. So there's a point where you can look under every nook and cranny and under the sofa cushions, and you may find all sorts of stuff there, but you may not find something to be relevant. And so it's just know when to quit and move on, I think, is part of it. Sure. All right, one more right back behind you.
It's just a follow-up to that. Like, what is a ballpark for when the annual revenue for account-based marketing makes sense?
It's a good question. So Matt at Everstring told me a story. He said that you should think about the level of effort that you put into an account based on what its potential revenue size is to you. So an example for us would be, it isn't necessarily the number of employees. For us, or the revenue, it's like the number of sales reps. That would be a way that we would use as a proxy for value. And he told the story at Salesforce that at Salesforce, they wanted to make Salesforce a customer. And that they literally flew a helicopter into downtown San Francisco, picked them up, and took a bunch of the executives driving exotic cars and flew them back. And he said it was expensive. But Salesforce is a customer, and they spend a fortune with Everstring. And so I think it has less to do with what their revenue upside is. We parked a food truck outside of TriNet the other day. TriNet's a customer. We want to grow the customer. What do? Buy them all lunch. Hey, that never hurts salespeople, right? Engineers like free food too. And so, and that costs us $5,000. The upside of that account is staggering, right? So you have to think about the level of effort, whether it's personalization, whether it's marketing, whether it's swag, whether it's handwritten notes, whether it's videos, whatever it is, in relation to what the upside of the account is. A construct we have at SalesLoft is what we call MCP, Minimal Customer Profile. These are folks that match 3 of our 5 ICP components, but maybe have 1 or 2 that are sort of flawed. And we put those people in, we want them to hear from us, but we aren't necessarily investing any personalization in those because they're small or they're exploratory industries. And so, but for the ones that have high upside, we're investing a ton of intentionality there. So I think it's just sort of thinking about your market. It's not revenue, it's what their potential revenue is to you. All right, these are great questions. I'm going to be around. Oh, Oh, hang on, we got one more.
Well,
I don't
we're
think
going to
they're
move
gonna
on.
let me.
We're going to move on.
All right,
Thank you.
Kitty's cut me off. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.